Hey, what's up guys? Little man with a big opinion here. I'm making today's video talking about my rifle build, and this is mostly going to be in response to Bear Independent's recent video. I really liked uh, the content that he had in it, but as you know, I started this channel while I was in college and prepping in college, and now that I do have my big boy job, I still don't have the massive uh, amount of funding that I can put into prepping, like some people can. But I think the vast majority of us do not have the ability to spend nearly as much money as we would like to. I'm constantly budgeting for my prepping, and I'll move the camera around again and kind of show you what I'm working with in my closet. But for today's video, we're going to talk about my rifle, uh, you know, the standards that it meets, things that I would like to improve on it, and my slightly counter argument to what Mr. Bear has said about the one rifle to rule them all. So, are other rifles useful? Yes, but should you just have one complete rifle that meets your standards? Yes. So a lot of the magazines that I like to carry are 20 round magazines. I've got the PMag knockoffs. They're the Pro Mag. You can get them typically in a pack of two for the same price of getting one 30 round magazine. It doesn't matter what magazine you're carrying. They can be, the aluminum ones that come from, just mil-spec ones. They can be P mags, they can be Pro mags. You can put a drum on yours, it doesn't matter. What matters more is the amount of rounds that you put through your rifle, the training that you use with that rifle. Because, like Bear was saying, I would make the argument that me with this rifle is, and this entire thing, sight included, cost me about $650 to put together. And I would say me with this rifle, I am, more deadly, more efficient than someone that goes out and buys a $5,000 rifle, has all P mags, has a nice Vortex sight on it, but doesn't have the same amount of money put into, putting rounds down range. I think this rifle currently, it's got between 2,000 and 3,000 rounds through it. And then the idea of two is one and one is none. I do have a second upper for this rifle. I don't have a second sight. Broke college kid. Didn't have the money for that. Now, are other rifles useful? Yes, they are. Also, me being a historian, I like other rifles. I've got a model 1894 made in 1906 here, and this is my primary, deer hunting rifle. I love the thing. I bought it more because it's a super old gun than, for a post-apocalyptic world, or a Minuteman loadout, or a standard infantry loadout. I've got other rifles. I could be defending the home with a good old Mosin Nagant that I probably can't even get the whole thing in the picture angle. I'm a fairly short person. It's a fairly tall rifle. It's sitting on the ground, coming up just higher than chest. I'm only 5'2". This is a heavy rifle. It's a nice rifle. It's got nice stopping power. But I'm not going to be lugging around this and only 60, 70 rounds of ammunition when I could be lugging around my plate carrier or my chest rig. So for me, what does a rifle need? Not much at all. You know, I could have spent the same amount of money to get the dark earth. You know, I could have done black, I could have done tan, could have done white, could have done whatever. But Magpul, I like their grips. I've got it in a good spot for myself. I thought about cutting it down, not needing the whole shebang, but you know, that's for me. Like I said, most of the magazines that I'm carrying are going to be 20 round magazines. I'm a cheap person. That's what I was able to afford. They work just fine. I've never had a single issue with Pro Mag magazines. The optic that I'm using, and it doesn't show it on that side, it shows it on this side, is the Romeo 5 red dot. It's got 8 daytime brightness settings, and it has 2 night vision settings. Don't have the money for night vision, but this sight is going to run you, so I don't even know if they're still making this sight or if they've moved on to something newer, but it was about $100 when I got it. Using a red dot for me is really, really nice, but I do have the backup flip up iron sights. Regular old charging handle, regular, fire selection, regular trigger, regular mag release, and bolt carrier group. Nothing on here is expensive. What is expensive is shooting, 40 to 60 rounds a month for me, and maintaining what I have in my prepping closet. So, whole point of this video, from my perspective, is put together a rifle. It could be an AR platform. It could not be in 5.56. It could be your dad's 243. It could be a black powdered rifle, for all I care. The main point that I'm getting at here is whatever rifle that you put together, that you have the hours put into using that rifle, you know the ins and outs, you have all of the components to keep it clean and functioning, and you have backup components when your first set fails. In my bug out bag, I carry a complete bolt carrier group. That's the only additional thing that I've purchased, for that rifle. Maybe when things change, I'll be able to change those kind of things out, but for now, that's what I'm running. I do have a new upper for it that I haven't used yet, but it's going to get a few hundred rounds broken into it, and then it's going to sit there and be a backup. Once you have the system that you have trained and worked through, get some redundancy systems in place, and I think you'll be good to go. I don't think you need 100 firearms and millions of rounds of ammunition to survive what you're getting through. I really think a big part of prepping should be a lot more, food, water skills, for the same price of getting, these days, probably 3 or 4 boxes of 5.56, go ahead and pick you up one of the Sawyer minis. I think water, in a lot of cases, is way more important than having all the ammo in the world. Same with having flashlights. This is one of my favorite ones. It's got 2 brightness settings, a little bit of light bar, and then the light comes out of the headlamp, so it can be handheld, and it's got a magnet on it. So it's an option, and it's a rechargeable headlamp. So all of your prepping stuff doesn't just need to go into, getting a rifle, getting all the ammunition in the world, then buying more rifles and more ammunition, and just building up a armory. There's no point in having tens of thousands of rounds of ammunition if you don't have the food storage to back up. Half the point of having this is to protect yourself and your stuff. I had to take y'all off the tripod. So coming into my prepping closet, I think having this stuff much nicer. That it's all right. But inside this cat litter pail is 15 Mountain House meals, uh, and this is just one batch of the stuff. To make someone go happy, you can see one section of the ammo I have. This one is all 22. It's like 3,200 rounds. This smaller one is all 5.56, darn near full. Ooh, ammo, magazines. Now, don't get me wrong. I do have quite a few of the 30 round magazines. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of them sitting there, and then 4 more 20 rounds. And that's just what's kept in this room, in this closet. I guess I can show you all the optic box. I just found this the other day and thought it needed to go in here with the prepping stuff. Alright, so diversifying your preps, I would say, is just as important as, the rifle that you get, the time and effort that you put into that rifle. All of us preppers, I'd say most of us preppers, are doing everything that we're doing on a budget. We're not Bill Gates's, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk's of the world, where we could drop $40,000-$50,000 and just go ahead and have 10 years worth of food, and we can't drop $500,000 on a bunker and a massive solar system and everything. We got to get this stuff one piece at a time. So the firearm of your choice is only one piece of your puzzle. For me, this is my one piece. I still spend money on other firearms. I enjoy the Second Amendment, and I enjoy having cool and different guns. That's perfectly acceptable for us preppers out there. The biggest thing is training with the equipment that you have. This rifle is not fancy by any means. It does everything I need it to do, and it's taken a pretty good beating. So I am happy with it. At some point in the future, will it be replaced? Probably. I'm looking at using my M1 carbine as a main battle rifle, but ammunition is more expensive. Getting a sight like this put on it is a little bit more expensive. So for now, it's like a solid secondary backup rifle. But train with what you have. Train often. You can do dry fire exercises. You can do mag reloads. You can get yourself one of those little bullet laser pointers that you can put in here, and you can practice getting eyes on target. After that, you shouldn't just do static target training where you set up a piece of paper and you go back 50 yards, 100 yards, even if you're going back a mile. You shouldn't just practice static training. You should practice, firing and maneuver. Get you some sticks on the ground at your shooting range, make yourself little boxes, and put yourself 20 yards from your box. Run over there so your heartbeat's racing. Knock out 20 push-ups before you fire. Having a piece of plywood that you can cut different angles in so that you can practice not just shooting, from the perfect standing position, the perfect kneeling position, the perfect prone position. Practice having to contort your body into different situations. Practice in the cold. Winter's coming up. I just got done watching a documentary over the Battle of the Bulge. Those guys were fighting in freezing cold temperatures. I think we should be capable of doing the same thing. Also, you should be capable of doing it in the middle of the summer when it's sweating bullets. You should be capable of doing it when it's raining, when it's foggy. So you can plan your training around, crappy weather events so that you are used to that kind of thing. Uh, and then you should also, once you have your one rifle to rule them all, you should practice with the other members of your family. You should practice with the other members of your mag. Uh, Ideally, everyone in your group is carrying the same, main rifle so that you're all carrying the same ammunition. Does it matter? Not really. You're not an army. You're more of a citizens militia. In a lot of cases, you're not going to be, taking back a city or whatever. Most of the time, you're going to be shooting a coyote, dropping a deer, uh, messing with unruly trespassers, and in most cases, just pointing the scary black object is enough to make them leave. Get your law enforcement involved and deal with your situation. Uh, you know, as preppers, I would hope that we don't want the crap to actually hit the fan. We're just planning and being prepared for when it does. So, your main rifle, get what you like and train with it. That's the biggest thing. On your rifle, I would say some sort of optics is key. Some sort of way to carry your rifle is key. Uh, I just got done, taking this mostly apart and looking at it. I didn't put the sling back on it, but I've got a sling that I, loop in on the front of the rifle, typically down here, and then a loop in on the back of the rifle. So that uh, sights, and I don't really carry a light on my rifle. I typically have a headlamp with me, but if you want a light on your rifle, then that's your prerogative. But with that being said, if you have any comments that you would like to leave, based on the rifle, what are your thoughts and opinions? That's perfectly acceptable. Leave them in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, then like a video. If you enjoy what I'm doing with my channel, then hit the subscribe button. And lastly, if you have a friend or family member that would benefit from the discussions that we have in these videos, then share the channel with them. And with that, stay frosty. Catch you next time.